Hello,
Hi.
Lavinia.
Hi.
I need a bit of your expertise. I would love to record my online course. I've never done it before, and I would love to set up correctly my camera, my light, everything, so that I appear nicely. And I'm starting actually from this position where I am sitting on my sofa. I have done nothing, and I guess everything is wrong. I cannot be recording my course like this. Can you take me step by step so that we clear it all out?
Sure. Let's start. Let's start by just straightening you out, shall we? So the first thing you want to do, is to not have to hold your phone. So your phone is actually one of the best cameras you have. But the thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have to carry your phone, right? When you're holding it, it's very unstable. So I want to show you some quick ways to stabilize your phone. Okay. So let me show you my makeshift. This is a bag of rice in a Ziploc bag. Okay. You don't need anything special. You just need something to help you stabilize your phone. So if you don't have a holder, like I have several holders here, but if you don't have a holder, this on a stable surface and your phone will hold your phone in place. Okay, so if you're at the beach or whatever and you want to take some photos, just fill a bag with some sand, rice, beans, anything that will give you some weight and allow your phone to sit will give you some stability. Okay, so I'm just going to unclick. I'm just going to show you a couple of other holders that I have and that I use. So, excuse me. You can buy something like, you can buy something like this on Amazon. It will allow you to rotate, and it has a ball, and it has height adjustments, and it has some weight at the bottom. So anything like this is very useful for keeping, and also it allows you to move your camera to a spot where you have better light. Yeah, because light is one of the most important things you need, good light when you shoot. So those are the things that make it a little bit easier for yourself. So what you want to do, the first thing is get the phone out of your hands. So you can have a bit of distance. Ah, bravo. Okay, now you're out of the hands. So the second step is to move it up. So if you imagine your screen has two lines like this, dividing the screen into three parts, you want your eyes to be on one line and your chin on the other line, okay? So more or less where I'm standing right now is more or less the right spot, okay? So you don't want to be too high. You don't want to be talking to people like this, and you don't want to be talking to people like this, right? So you want to kind of be more or less at eye level. And you can see sometimes I look down because I'm looking at multiple screens. But basically your goal is to look at the camera.
How close shall I be? So this is too close and this is too far.
Okay, so let's see. About there, that's good. You can probably move your camera just down a little bit and then you're good. And how, you know what you do? If you don't know where to look, what you can do is put a sticker. So let me just clear this. So this is my screen. This is where the camera is up here, right? What you can do is put a little sticker, a round sticker just there to remind you to look at that spot. Okay.
So are you talking about camera?
Yeah.
So it has to be close to the camera.
Yes. So put your finger. So how you work out, like how, if I want to know where I'm looking now, if I just go there, then I know exactly where the camera is picking. So you just use your finger and you say that, okay? So then you know exactly where you're supposed to be looking. And you put a little round sticker exactly there, roughly there. Don't block the camera. To help you focus. So I have one, I have a few here because I have several cameras. So I have a few dots around so that I know roughly where I should be looking. But sometimes I can't help it. I need to look at another screen or look at instructions that are coming in, and then I look away. But basically your goal is to do this, is to look at your audience like you would if you were in real life. You know, you would look into your audience, you would catch their eye. So this is how you do it. So, okay, so now that we're on eye level, so the thing that you really don't want to use is your, I'm going to just jump up a little bit because I want to show you this. What you don't want is how a lot of people do it, which is like this, you know, they are talking and, you know, the camera is way down there and everyone's looking up your nose and looking at all your many chins that you don't actually in normal life you don't have, but because your camera is way too low, this is so not flattering. It's so distracting. And it's not about looking like a supermodel. It's really about presenting yourself in a way that's not distracting for your audience. You want them to focus on your words and on your content. And in order to do that, you want to make sure you're in their line of sight, that they can hear you and that they can see you. So the next thing I want to quickly talk about is light.
Yep.
So right now I'm in a room, and actually what I've done is I've closed the curtains. I actually have a big window over here, and you can see my curtains kind of, right? You can see them here. I've closed it because there's so much light coming in from outside. So if I open it, can you see how much light is coming in? It's huge amount of light. Most people have a different problem. They're not in the right spot. So the best thing you can do when you're on your phone is to actually put it in front of a mirror. Sorry, not a mirror, a window. So you take your stand like this. So if you had your phone on your stand, so this is your stand. Where's my phone? Let's pop my phone on the stand. Okay, once my phone is on the stand, what you want to do, and this is my mirror, but my window, sorry, then I would position it like this. This is my window back there, here, and me. So I get nice, even light against my face. But because that's not really possible in this room that I'm in, and I'm using my computer right now, I am balancing that off. The second way to do it, if you can't get a window, is don't buy any expensive lights. Just a desk lamp. So let me show you my desk lamp. So this is my desk lamp. Again, something you can buy from anywhere, any kind of lamp. This one allows me to change the warmth of the light to different kinds of light. You don't really need this. Any kind of light will do, to be honest. And what you want to do is, I'm going to show you on this. You want to tilt it so that it's reflecting off the wall. It's not on your face like this, but it's reflecting off a wall that's behind that. So for me, this is in front of that wall. Okay, so let's just do that now and you'll see the difference it makes. So any light reflected on the wall in front of you, a white wall ideally, you see, instantly it's much softer. It's like having a light box. It's just like going into a studio and getting a light box. So some light. You don't want, what I see a lot of people have is they have a lamp back there and the lamp is on. If you have a lamp that's on there, all people will see is a halo. The other thing I want to talk about is, so right now where you are, it's pretty good because you see there's some light on the side of your face. I would move your camera just down just a little bit. Yeah, or you go up a bit, or the camera can come down a bit.
I go up a bit?
Yeah, there. Because you're in portrait, you need to be a little bit higher up. Okay, so now you're looking good. So shall we take a look at what's behind you?
Please, that was the question. Does it have to be plain?
How do you do that?
Distract?
So you want to choose something that fits who you are. Okay, so for me, I'm from Singapore. This is typical art from Singapore. There's a Singapore flag back there. There's a bit of a Berlin Wall here from my husband, who also uses the space. And we have some books back here. And the other thing, you can see my chair doesn't have a high back. Because if I had a high back and you could see it here, it would be very distracting. So if you're using a chair for your shoots, make sure it's a low back chair. It really helps. And choose a background that works for you. Okay, that's not too distracting. You don't want things like shooting out of your ears. Like if I stood here with my plant, it looks like it's growing out of my ears here. So, you know, you want to just be mindful of where you are. So try to have either like this picture is framing me right now, or where you can stand to the side so that your slides can come up cleanly, or if you're shooting an image, you can show it cleanly either way. So you want to have those possibilities depending on how your course is running. The other thing, if you notice, when I use my hands, they became very big for you, right? So you want to be aware of how you're using your hands, because they're right in front of you, and if you move it really close to your audience, you scare them off, like, so you want to keep your hands where a little bit further back than you would normally, but use it like you would normally use, so you don't feel so stiff. So for light, so where you are now, can we try a different background? Do you have another space in your room? Because right now you've got pictures that are not clear. It's not like you have two, you're sort of in half. So stop there, stop for a minute. I want to show something. This is what happens when there's light behind you. Can you see what happens? That huge, so you definitely not a good spot, but that's a great example of you don't want the light to create that kind of image. Let's keep moving. Is there another spot you'd like to show us? Oh, in front of a bookshelf is great. A lot of people you can see use bookshelves. Fantastic.
Yeah, I just noticed that books are over there and file keepers are over here, and this is not so fortunate, right? So
well,
preferably
it's better to have no glass, right? So right now your bookcase has glass in front of it, so you get some reflection. So it's not ideal, but bookshelves are super popular. A lot of people have bookshelves behind them. I heard some secondhand book companies are actually selling books by the color, because people are setting up bookshelves behind them. So yeah, so no window behind you, no light source behind you, and ideally nothing reflective behind you. Okay. So turn off turn off the lights. See, instantly better. See, now you're looking pretty good there. And you've got that nice pop of purple. Actually, I quite like this background. It's actually quite nice and plain enough, but it's got some interesting features. So that's cool. You see, you've now.
Would you recommend a totally plain background, or is it missing out on ways of communication? If I take just a plain white wall behind me, would it be any better?
Would it be any better? I think it's less personal. One of the great things about that's happened now, because we're inviting people into our homes and offices, it allows people to have a different view of us. And I feel like allowing a little bit of that personal element to come through is a good thing. But if you find it too exhausting, and honestly, it's too hard to find a clean spot in your house, or too tiring to set up the light in the correct spot, using a plain wall, there's nothing wrong with it. It's better than having a cluttered background. So I would choose a plain wall over a cluttered background, but best of all is a curated background. So a background that looks structured, that you've looked at it and you're quite happy with the way you look. It doesn't have to be any one thing. This is not magic. What I've done here is it's what works for us. I didn't buy anything special. This is a dresser that we used to have in our dining room. This was always my desk. We've just made some adjustments here and there to make it better. So you see, if you like that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with using a white wall. It does allow.
Yeah. Well, I feel that it's actually an additional channel of communication if there are things around. And as you said, you decide how you want to be seen and what is important for you and what is it else that you want to message. Yeah.
So you also have to think about whether you're currently in portrait mode, right? So, and I'm in landscape mode, right? This way. So you have a much broader picture, right? So you want to try tilting your phone to landscape and see how that looks for you.
Oh my God. What? All my setting is going wild. I wonder where I am. So,
well, that's the good thing about having a stand. It allows you, see? Now,
absolutely.
I must say,
yeah.
So I must admit that while this is a little harder for you to focus your eye onto the camera, you have to think where your camera is and look at the camera.
Exactly.
And not look at yourself. So that's the hard part. We're so programmed to look at ourselves. So you really, with landscape mode in a phone, you have to really teach yourself not to look at yourself, but it does make for a nicer framing. So if you're shooting yourself in landscape here, it's much nicer, unless you're doing it for TikTok or for Instagram, in which case you need to do it for portrait. Normally, for most business purposes, this way, landscape is a lot better.
Which would be new to me. And well, then let me summarize. Landscape, light coming from the face, probably not natural light, maybe artificial light, and background that is maybe gently communicating something else, constantly looking on the camera and not putting hands in front of the camera.
Not too close, at least.
Right? Not too close, at least. Yeah, I find it really challenging actually not to look at the picture, and in a landscape format it's challenged, really.
Can I say,
so,
I agree.
I cannot enjoy.
I totally agree,
Yeah.
which is why I actually have a webcam set up. So while your phone has a great camera, your laptop does not. Okay.
Okay.
So most laptops do not have a good camera. So your phone has it's a fantastic camera. And I can recommend also the app Camo, C-A-M-O, to really turn your phone camera into something quite special. It can film in quite a warm and very flattering way from your phone. But I don't recommend you use your laptop camera. If you're going to use your laptop and you're filming for other people, you really want to do many things to adjust. Then you really want to be careful with the light, because your camera is just not very good. You're dealing with a camera that's not very good. So the light has to be much more important. And the other thing, if you're using a laptop, is I recommend you have something like this, which is, this is from IKEA. It's just, you know, a breakfast tray, right? Like this from IKEA. You can just get one of these, any kind of breakfast tray of any sort, because it will let you lift up your laptop in a steady way. And what you want to do is lift up your laptop and tilt the screen forward a bit, okay? You don't want it to be in its natural position, which is like that, because again, then everybody will be looking up your nose. So if you use your laptop to film, please do elevate it, because from a normal desk, you'll need to bring it up. I do so many events and people always leave their laptops down, or they put it way too high. You really just want it roughly at eye level. You don't really want it tilting either too far forward or too far back. You kind of want it straight. And you want, unless you're you really don't want anything complicated. You want it straight and you want it more or less at eye level. You don't want this and you don't want that. You're on mute.
There you go. Now I am unmuted. So those are the main points, right?
Well, there's one last thing that I'd like to say. It's about sound. So right now, you can use any number of things to make your sound better. Your mic on your laptop is pretty good. If all you're doing is normal meetings, don't waste your time doing anything else. Continue to use your laptop mic. The mic on your phone is okay, provided there's not a lot of sound in the room, it'll work as well. For someone like me that does this a lot, I actually have an external mic. I'll show you in a minute. So here. So this is a USB mic. It's not a fully professional mic. It's not what like a radio station would use or anything. It looks good, but it's actually a very basic mic. It's called a USB mic. It runs into my laptop with a USB. And this little thing here, it just prevents me from spitting into my mic and ruining it for the future. So it's actually a setup that allows my sound to always be quite warm and not tinny or echoey. So sound is very important when you're recording, but if your room is quiet, so close the doors. So my doors are currently closed. Make sure it's not an empty room. An empty room has a lot of echo. So be in a room that has things. And if you find that you sound very tinny or very echoey, just add a cushion behind you like behind your laptop, just put a cushion there and the sound won't bounce so much. Yeah. So I think that's the last tip. You're on mute still. You need.
This is actually a great example. I keep muting because there is movement in my apartment and there is a background noise. And this is exactly what you've been talking about. Yes. And of course, my performance today has shown one has to set up it so that there is no need to toy around with the setting while recording the course. And I still obviously do not must looking into the camera when it's landscape. So. There are a few things to exercise.
Yeah, everyone has that problem with the phone, which is why I decided not to use my phone. And that's why the sticker helps a lot. Okay, can I tell you? So I'm going to just quickly actually show you how to do that. I'll be right back. Just give me 1 minute.
Meanwhile, my cup of coffee is on my table. I think I've never looked that unfortunate on the camera as I did today.
Okay, so what you do is I have my son's phone here and here. So what you want to do is get a little sticker like this. And you see that's the camera. So you want to put a sticker there. So even when you're on sideways, what you're looking at, you're always looking for the sticker here. So I know this is where I'm supposed to look. Yeah. So that's really helpful if you're using your phone and it's on landscape and you keep looking at yourself, which means that you are looking like this all the time. For the person who's recording, you're constantly looking at something else. The way to fix it is to really put a dot. It can be a red dot. I happen to have a gold dot available. I just put a dot there and it really helps you to focus that that's where you're supposed to look.
Fantastic. So we take it as a homework, we take it as a guidance, and we just do it. And then you shall enjoy soon our beautiful courses, online courses. And I'm looking forward. Thank you very much, Lavinia.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us.
Ciao.